So if you guys didn't know, Vermintide went free this week, and I still think it's free for a few days. So that means there's a massive influx of new players. I can pull up this. We're at 23,000 players right now, where before, like, yeah, it usually peaks around 3,000 and hovers between that and like 1,500. And so like out of nowhere, we're at 23,000 because the game went free. And what I wanted to do today with all the new players joining the community, first I want to say, welcome to the community. Vermintide is an awesome game and it's very beloved by a handful of people. It's one of those games where you'll run into a lot of people that have over 1,000 hours in the game. Typically the people that really like this game really like it. And the reason is that the combat, there's just nothing else really like it right now. You could say Darktide, but it's the same company, and some people don't like the sci-fi setting. But in terms of first-person melee combat, it is the best right now. It brings me to kind of what the draw to the game is, right? Like, it's not completely obvious. Like, the game is very inspired by Left 4 Dead, and in Left 4 Dead, you know, all you really had was the missions. There was no macro progression, anything like that. But Vermintide has this, right? It took Left 4 Dead and it smashed it together with kind of an RPG, almost MMO-like game. They smashed it together and gave us a game that is a lot of us really enjoy, right? The draw to the game is the combat itself. Generally, there's not like a big goal you are working towards, right? There's no like Endgame raids or anything like that. There's higher difficulties, and like this game will definitely challenge you. Even at 1,100 hours into the game, I still fail missions often. That's really what you're working towards, is getting better at the game, challenging yourself. That's the reward in itself, is the gameplay. So I want to give the new players a roadmap for the new player experience, because it's not incredibly obvious, right? Like, you come in here and you go to custom game and there's like all this stuff, right? And there's a bajillion DLCs and there's a bunch of different game modes. So first I'll talk about all of the game modes. First, there's what we call just adventure mode, which is the default mode of the game. This is where you load into a game with the gear that you have and your power level, and you just play through it from start to end. Now, the second one, which is a free edition they added back in like 2021, 2022, somewhere in there, is Chaos Waste. So Chaos Waste is a roguelite game mode. If you played a roguelite, this looks very familiar to you. You probably know what's going on here. And then there's shrines that you can spend the currency you get in game. There's coins scattered throughout the map that you'll be getting. Now, the main thing I want to mention about this game is that you don't bring in the gear from adventure mode. You get these chests, and when you open them, it gives you a bunch of gear. It may be good, it may be bad, and you know, it's your standard colored tier system for weapons and gear. So all of this gear that you get from adventure mode, you will not take into Chaos Waste. This matters because at the beginning of the game, you're not going to have great gear, which means that you can push higher difficulties on Chaos Waste without having the disadvantage of not having as good of gear. Because you're not bringing in the gear from adventure mode, I really would recommend Chaos Waste to new players. One, to see what it's like on the higher difficulties, and it's a decent way to farm gear. One Chaos Waste run can be anywhere from like 40 minutes to an hour, but you will get triple the amount of reward compared to completing an adventure mode mission. Okay, so that's Chaos Waste. And then there's also Versus, which you're probably going to struggle to find games, and I wouldn't even recommend playing Versus until you have played all of the campaign missions and you kind of know what you're doing, because there's no matchmaking. You're probably going to get matched with people who, like me, who have been playing the game forever. And that's the major flaw with the Versus system in this game, right? Is that even if you've played the game for 3 hours, right, you're going to get matched against players like me. And that's just not fair in any way, shape, or form, because this is a very high skill cap game. And so the first thing I actually recommend you do is just play through all of the default campaign missions, which is this big one right here, because this is going to get you a start on the game. And like, this is the way it was released, right? This is kind of the intended first experience that you have, is just playing through all of these campaign missions. And then once you're done with that, the game, it's really kind of up to you what you want to do. I guess if you wanted to give the game a like macro objective, it would be to grind gear and get red weapons, which is a whole thing with the crafting system. And so yeah, after you do the campaign missions, it's really kind of up to you to how you want to play the game. There's a few things you can do. Like one, of course, like I said, is grinding gear. The other one is to do these challenges. This is the way that I really started to enjoy the game after, you know, I had completed the campaign, is that, right, if you go down here, like for Kruber, each character will have these where, like, if you complete every mission in the campaign on Legend, then you get a certain cosmetic. And there's a ton of these, right? Like, I can go through these, like, there are so many. And these will give you cosmetics, which is what I thought was cool about it. Other than that, right, the game is really about challenging yourself and getting the better gear so you can face those bigger challenges. And in case you are ever wondering what you should build on your weapon, what traits and properties you want, I'm gonna say that 90% of the time you want Swift Slaying as a trait, and you want block cost reduction and crit chance on the properties, right? So let me just look at all my weapons, right? So this one, Swift Slaying, crit chance, block cost reduction. Again. Oh, this one has attack speed. Again, crit chance, block cost, Swift Slaying. Almost every weapon, right? It's going to be a little different for shield weapons and weapons that have like super high stagger, but that's going to be your go-to 90% of the time. You guys in chat, if there was anything you wish you would have known as a new player, let me know. The best way to farm gear in this game is to do book runs. So what that means is in every mission, there are 3 tomes and 2 grimoires that are hidden throughout the mission. I hate doing the book runs. I'm gonna be honest with you. As soon as I got red weapons, I stopped. Yeah, so people do this on Legend, on every difficulty that's not Cataclysm, basically. Mostly Champion and Legend. And so if you take all 3 tomes, 2 grimoires, and I think you kill a boss and you get the boss dice, you'll get the best vault you can get, the best loot crate you can get. The reason I don't like it is because it kind of ruins the pacing of the game. If you don't like the book runs, Chaos Waste is a great alternative. A lot of people just do Screaming Bell over and over again with all the books for grinding, yeah. Because Screaming Bell is generally the fastest map. Okay, so there's one other thing. I see this question all the time, not just in my comments, but on Reddit, and that is, what DLCs do you get? The thing you should be aware of is that this is the way that Fat Shark monetizes Vermintide. They'll give it away for free, they'll give it away for like $5, but then, you know, there's all of these DLCs, right? And that's how they make their money. And there's a lot of them, and they go on sale a lot, right? Like right now, like all of the classes are $2, which is a good deal for how much content you will get out of that class. But I actually wouldn't get any of the DLCs until you've put like 30 hours into the game, you've beat all the campaign missions, you know, you've grinded a bit on gear, and you've kind of felt out the game, you figured out the way you like to play it. And so once you get to that point, you may want to start thinking about DLCs, because you'll get new maps, new weapons, new classes, etc., etc. Yeah, the most content-heavy ones are Back to Ubersreich and Shadows over Bogenhofen. It will give you a lot of new stuff to do, a lot of new maps. There's new challenges, there's new weapons too. So that's, if you want more content out of the game, then I would go with that. And the Winds of Magic will give you the highest difficulty, Cataclysm. I don't recommend that until you can complete Legend without going down, without even having any kind of difficulties. I don't know how I feel about, you know, them paywalling a difficulty, but it is what it is. Playing on Cataclysm is my personal favorite way to play the game, because it's a good challenge. I like that you don't do book runs on Cataclysm, and it's just like, it's a fun way to play the game. So now the other thing is the classes, okay? Now the way they do their class release, there's 2 DLCs. One of them is just you unlock the class, the new class. So, right, so then there's a separate DLC that is a premium cosmetic upgrade, which will just give you skins. And that is more meant for people who like want to support Fat Shark as developers, who want to see Vermintide continue, right? So that's kind of their compromise. They want to give you new classes, but they don't want to charge you out the ass for it. So that's the way they do it. They split it up. They say you can have the new class for $4 or $5, and then you can have a bunch of extra stuff if you want to give us a little bit more money to support us as developers. But I would recommend just getting them one at a time. Like if you find out that you really like playing Saltspire, you like Witch Hunter Captain and Bounty Hunter, etc., then I would look at getting Warrior Priest. So Forgotten Relics is a little confusing if you weren't around the time it came out. So back then, Vermintide released the Chaos Waste game mode, right? And they gave it to us for free, which is pretty cool with how much content is in there. So the Forgotten Relics pack is just weapons, but these are some of the best weapons in the game. I won't say it's not pay to win, right? But you know, these are good weapons and they're really fun. Particularly the Trollhammer Torpedo. Really cool weapon. Like the Coruscation Staff was super good at some point. Moonfire Bow is pretty solid. Duckfoot pistols are great if you want to shoot your team in the back and be annoying. Spear and Shield's pretty good, right? And so hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Just play the game before you buy any DLCs. Figure out how you like playing the game. And then figure out what you want from there. Hopefully that gives you a rough idea of how to start with Vermintide. Again, you know, the main draw to the game is the combat. Like, the rewards of the game are playing the game more. It's not kind of one of these MMO-like games where you're working towards some huge end game thing, really. It's really about continually challenging yourself, pushing up the difficulty, and seeing how well you can do. And I would say probably the biggest part for me personally is the build craft. Seeing what weapons work with what class and what talent builds work, and you know, you go in game and then you test them out and you're like, oh, I did like 20% more damage when I took this talent or whatever. That's the funnest part about the game for me. Okay, other than that, I will say for the new players, there is a learning curve to the game. I do have a lot of guides on YouTube. A lot of the talent builds are a little outdated, but the principles should still be there. And also, I also talk about strategy in all the guides, and that will always be true. And but the weapon build should be the same and everything. I will leave a pinned comment that kind of has a condensed version of this roadmap. I'm a little rambly with the live streams. And I will also have a few links to videos I think that would help new players. And I think we will call it there. This is my first time doing a video like this where I rip something from a live stream, which if you don't know, I live stream every Wednesday and sometimes on the weekends. So if you made it this far in the video, let me know what you think of this format. It's very different from what I'm used to. When I make a video, I want to make it very high production, but the thing is with that, it's really hard to put out videos like that because they take a long time to make, and I'd like to get videos out to you guys. So let me know what you think about this format. I have some more content planned. I'm gonna make some Darktide videos and also make some more Vermintide videos. I appreciate you guys watching, listening to me talk about Vermintide. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.